I think it's actually a change in goal. So for Wales, instead of Toby Cleaver-Ross, I believe...
Casey Hughes, I believe.
I'm sorry, for Scotland, I mean, it's a change in goal. But we're off anyway, the face-off. First possession. Number 14, that's Josh Yeoman for Wales. Gets it over to Thomas Rosser, who played at the fly. Bit of an alley dodge. 1-0 to Wales. Number 1 himself, Eddie Owen Jr. His dad was a stalwart ex-player and official at Manchester Waconians. He gets Wales on the board. Nice alley dodge. And Scotland, I thought he may have drawn a flag there for a push in the back. 2-on-1. Was it 2-on-2? There's a man behind him. Great little face dodge and finish by number 10, Adam Wood, the veteran, ex-Norbury Lacrosse Club captain. A real stalwart of the game, playing in European and World Championships. We had a great view on that one. As I'm assuming that's Crawley, number 12. It is. The slingshot just inches over the bar. So Wales bringing it up. Scotland preferring to drop back. They're not doing a hard press ride like we saw in the previous women's game.
And Wales took advantage of that by doing a mass sub, so they got fresh legs on.
Yeah, it's not chess, obviously, but there's those little wrinkles are just happening all the time. You need to keep your head on a swivel, not just have your own plan, but see what the opposition are doing. The referee's timeout here.
Yeah, play's been stopped. Casey Steiner with the ball, just right at the outset here. He's just showing real energy and pace for Scotland. We'll see if he can create some opportunities here on the attack.
And we had this in a previous game where we didn't actually see it because we couldn't see it. It's a clock that's malfunctioning that we're actually behind. So
this is the 30-second shot clock, which is critical to the game now. And so that clock being visible is very important to the players.
And functioning. Yes, I can see the clock. The clock is fine. I've no idea what time he's left, though, because it's not actually turned on.
These are all wireless radio-based things, which are exactly the kinds of things that
magic
go upside down right when you least want it to.
The more advanced technology, can go wrong.
This is right. So
a bit of a Luddite myself. But I love the idea that it's not just, there's no wires, there's no cables, it's wireless technology.
Maybe you give somebody 30 cards with a number written on each, and they just drop a card every second.
Flip them over, one every second. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And then have someone who can, you remember the guy from, I'm showing my age here, Police Academy, who could do all the noises.
That's right.
Get him to do the siren for the end of the shot clock warning. And here we have...
Yeah. Our tournament director is delivering a new 30-second clock, so... 2-0 to England, to Wales, rather, at the minute, with Scotland in possession.
Lorna Powell, the full-service tournament director, running the clock over to the other side of the field.
Well, she was a top international in her playing days, so...
And then the top international official.
That's right.
After her playing days. Here he is, Crawley again. He's swinging a miss. He has got a great shot. He's just not... They're like tracer shots at the moment. He's not quite finding the target. Jack Crawley's attack from Hillcroft. And then we have Rodri Stanford. I don't even know this fact. It's strange but true. He actually has an Olympic sister. As Aaron Eastwood, maybe the second youngest player at the tournament. Scores for Wales. He had his debut at the Under-20 European Championships in Prague. He's another one with a tremendous outside shot and an unbelievable athlete. He doesn't run so much as glide across the field. Another player for Norbury Lacrosse Club. Under the tutelage of Phil Holland, Mr. Norbury. Moving pick, interference called. So it's another turnover. The long ball, can he come up with it? Unfortunately not this time. That was Tom Porter. He played down in the Lilleshall National Sports Centre last week in the fly. I believe he was part of the winning championship team, the Rise, coached by Vince Cara, who's the co-England head coach here at the tournament this week. A little bit of a colour clash there, possibly.
Well, I think it's fair to say that Scotland struggled to crack the England defense, and I think they're struggling kind of in the same manner here with the Wales defense.
As Wales scoring another breakaway goal. This is number 5 for Wales, James Tiley. I don't know what the story is behind, but he's also known as Hamish.
That's right. I don't know the story either.
I hope it's a clean story.
Oh, lovely finish.
Beautiful goal. That's much more like it for Scotland. If we can see his number, it's number 11, Michael Barkley. I was told great things about Mr. Barkley before the tournament. Bit of a lefty finisher, shifty player. Here we have Eddie Owen again, this time going left-handed, but a good save. Toby Cleaver-Ross. Shout out from him to his workmates. He was passing on the link for his work colleagues to see what this strange thing that he does every weekend. And this time it's Jack Brooks from Loughborough, number 12. Gets over to Tom Rosser, I believe. No, it's Alex Williams, Sheffield Steeler. Sheffield Steelers Lacrosse Club. Gets the assist to Adam Wood inside.
And that's 5-1 now, Wales.
It can, if you don't concentrate, you can give up goals in a hurry. Because every time you turn it over, the opposition can run it straight back down your throat. It's not like, well, let's slow it down and take it easy. There's nobody shouting hold on the sideline when you have a 30-second shot clock.
Bit unlucky on the bounce shot for Scotland there. It hit the ground and hit the post on the way up and found its way out of bounds.
Again, fine details make all the difference. One is a bounce shot that tucks sweetly underneath the crossbar and wraps the net around.
That's right.
And everyone loves those.
Yeah.
The one that bounces over and you lose the ball, not so much.
It's the one that makes a little sound on its way in.
As it stops and then drops.
Yeah.
That's a thing of beauty. Joy forever.
And a couple centimeters away is complete utter failure.
Diving attempt there this time by Eddie Owen. Rejected by Toby Cleaver-Ross. This is Crawley on the ball, carrying it up. Wales are showing a little bit of a zone there. And this time, shooting overhand for all the coaches in the world everywhere, rather than his sidearm. Actually buries that one in the bottom corner.
No goal given, I think. I think that was waved off.
This is Ben Robertson on the ball.
Minute and a half left, or just under, in the first quarter. 5-2 to Wales. 6-2, rather.
Good left-handed play again. That's an over and back. Again, this is where we see the difference between the Scotland-Wales teams and the England team. All the little details of whether there's a turnover, they're on that straight away. So there was a potential there for a breakaway for Wales, and they just gently took their time about it. Oh, great. It faked there by Rodri Stanford. And another reset, a one-on-one save by Toby Cleveland-Ross in goal. Turned away the dive shot. The rebound was picked up by, I believe it was Eddie Owen. It might have been Thomas Rosser. And then he turned that shot away as well. Excellent back-to-back saves there.
About 20 seconds left in the first quarter.
Did everything but take the ball with him. Looked like it was going to be a great shot. The ball fell out the back of his stick. As Jack Brooks clears the ball full field. Not long left. Great trail check. That was number 16 for Scotland. That's Jack Mills. As that ends the first quarter, it's Scotland 2, Wales 6.
And that's the second men's match of this Home Nation Sixes tournament here in Edinburgh, Scotland. So just a bit about the structure of the tournament. There are actually, between the men and the women, there are 12 matches today, and then there are 6 matches tomorrow. So 18 matches total. Today is the true competition, and there are 3 points being awarded for a win, 1 point being awarded for a tie, and all gets totaled up, and then nothing really happens. There's not a trophy. There's not anything given at the end. It really is more of a showcase for our sponsors today, the World Lacrosse, and for Lacrosse Scotland, to showcase the sport, to demo the sport, to trial the rules, to trial the procedures of running a tournament with these rules. Then tomorrow is more an opportunity for these same teams to have friendly matches. So that's basically the tournament structure. There will be 2 competition pitches going on. The one we're on is pitch 1, which is the filmed pitch, and then in the background, pitch 2 has a match going on at the minute in parallel.
Just saying of showcasing the event, what a fantastic facility it is here at Peffermill Playing Fields at the University of Edinburgh on a beautiful sunny day. I believe it's around 20 degrees at the moment, to showcase the sport, showcase the event.
And we're all taking learnings today, aren't we? From the players, of course, but also the coaches, the umpires. Getting used to the new rules, getting used to the new flow of the game, and that new physicality of the game, more so on the men's side. And here we are for the face-off for the second quarter.
Go for a quick flip. Not sure why they stopped it there. Good save again. Number 5.
That's Colin McCallum. He's had some challenges because his defense has allowed quite a few shots, and so he's had a lot of pressure on him throughout.
There's a slow penalty on this one. The referee has raised his arm. There's a body check off the ball. Field lacrosse, that's perfectly fine. It's within 5 yards. And at last, Jack Crawley. He's had some tracer bullets. This time he finds his target. An absolute slingshot. Rips that one past the goalkeeper's ear. Number 12, Jack Crawley, the attack player from Hillcroft. Put Scotland on the board with that one. Scotland 2, Wales 6.
So Scotland with a bit of momentum here and showing a little confidence with it.
That's actually, the shot missed, but it was tipped or deflected by Tom Porter, so it stays as a Scotland ball. That one not so much. We need to get bigger restraining nets behind the goal. That one then ended up in the hedge somewhere.
Right.
Low to high, high, wide and handsome. Wales in no rush here. There's still a man down, killing the penalty. They're doing well. As soon as you take the ball over the halfway line, you can't take it then back into your defensive half. So they just didn't force it over the halfway and played catch in their own half. This is Eddie Owen. Good stick protection. Under great pressure.
3 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah.
And there's the shot clock.
And that should be a penalty for delay of game. The shot clock hooter went off and he took the shot after the shot clock. If this was box lacrosse, there'd be some unhappy people about that. The rule is that as soon as the shot clock violation warning goes off, you have to just drop the ball. Good interception there. Will he see the man on the far side? Yes, he will. Beautiful finish.
Nice connection and transition there.
And just very calmly, he didn't try to shoot before he caught it. Caught it in transition. Pass was from Jack Brooks. I'm not quite sure who the goal was from. It might have been number 8. It looked like it was 38, but there isn't a 38. This is Alex Williams, the sole lefty on this Welsh squad. Intercepted inside. That's Fergus McMahon. Again, Scotland are subbing off their defensive players, getting on the attack players they want. As Chase Steiner comes on, him of the black and yellow helmet. I'm not sure he was a Mersey player, maybe Hillcroft. Actually, it's Glasgow City. It's his club of choice. Great outlet by the goalkeeper. Casey Hughes finds him in stride. Fake high, shoot low. Excellent goal. Jamie Tiley, aka Hamish. Good turnover there. Pressure on the ball. Excellent play by Rod Stanford. As I was mentioning earlier, his sister is actually non-Stanford.
Oh, right.
She's a medal-winning triathlete. I'm not sure if she won an Olympic gold. I think
she finished fourth in the Rio Olympics in a triathlon competition.
But she has won major professional triathlons. And a brother. A big brother plays lacrosse.
That's right, and has for a long and stellar career, yeah?
Oh, right from when he first stepped on the field with, I believe it was Cardiff originally, maybe actually Penarth. I'm not sure they're still going. But a ferocious competitor. And I'm not sure whether Rod has passed it on to Non or Non has passed it on to Rod. I can imagine them two fighting over the toast for breakfast. One thing for certain, if it's a long distance race, I think Non's going to win. If she can cycle, swim and run a marathon, then that's pretty good.
All right, it's still 8-3 to Wales over Scotland. About 3:20 left in the first half.
It seems that on the last couple of games, the pace has dropped.
It has.
Somewhat. So whether that's a case of fatigue or just players realizing this is actually going to be a long day.
Well, I think Dave Wales should be fresh, right? This is their first game. And I can understand Scotland maybe having slightly heavy legs.
Or even the case of just knowing that there's going to be 4 games as Adam Wood slots another one, off stick side low. You don't need much space, even shooting around your defender and using him as a screen.
Yeah. Well, I think, in thinking like a coach, the way to be really effective in this format is to really have your athletes go out and just get their heart rate to max and then get off. It really, using the subs and using the bench tactically is becoming a critical part of this game.
Absolutely. It's not your best 6, it's your best 12.
That's right. And
there's no point having 6 athletes on the bench who are all fit and fresh while your starters are chucking up and down, sucking fumes.
And while we're watching the performance level of 6s, this is also effective on the developmental level of 6s. In other words, when you have 12 on the bench and you're rotating through those 12, every player is getting a lot of touch. Oh, nice goal from
excellent passing goal
there, yeah.
Yeah, and again, if you can move the ball quicker than the defence can rotate, then you're going to have a fun day out. That was excellent ball movement. Getting it up to Tom Porter, who finished on the near post.
So what I was saying about development is the, with a not so deep a bench, then everybody gets on the pitch, everybody gets a lot of touches. Whereas if you're the 18th player on a 10v10 match on the women's side, say, you may not see the pitch or have very little playing time. So at the developmental level, I think it's going to create a lot of opportunities for more players to get a lot of playing time.
And I think this is one of the great features of this game, from a world development point of view, is that when you're trying to recruit a player to come and play for your team, he actually wants to play. He doesn't want to dress up in the uniform or the costume and sit on the bench and watch other people play. The fun bit is running up and down, playing catch and checking people. Good save again. Toby Cleaver-Ross. Grass is a little bit longer here.
It is holding the ball, isn't it?
There's a few surprised attackers thinking it's going to go out, and actually no. And another one off the helmet. Third time lucky for Wales.
So that's 11-3 to Wales with just coming up on 30 seconds left in the first half.
Aaron Eastwood launched that first shot, and I'm not sure the goalie's all right. He's taking a knee. I don't know if the referees have seen it. Yeah, he's back up now. But that one rang off his face mask.
It did.
And unfortunately for him, it was the Wales attacker that caught it. and shot straight immediately into the bottom corner. This is Casey Hughes.
Wales happy to take down the final seconds here, it seems. Oh, they're going to have one more luck.
Beautiful.
Cut him on a sneaky cut.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you saw the start of that. He was just jogging.
Yeah, he sold.
He
sold that the half's over, and then he broke the goal.
I love that element. Alex Russell on the England team, number 16, does it all the time. It works like slow, quick, slow. Just took the advantage. Absolute excellent first half by Wales, and it's those, they're not flash, team goals, making the extra pass, a give and go where just a sprint past your defender and your teammate gives you the ball and you're in on goal in 6x6 with no defenders, no long stick sliding across the crease with the coma slide, or no hospital passes,
right?
Because there's no steam train or trucks coming up through the midfield wanting to knock you into the middle of next week.
That's right.
There's a lot to like about this game. I'd imagine it's a tricky if you spent your whole career playing long stick and doing drills and getting your footwork right and using power and living in the weight room, and suddenly it's like you're like the dinosaurs or the dodo.
That's right. Well, we're seeing some slow motion replays of some of the scoring.
Ben Robertson with his box helmet. There's the penalty. In field lacrosse, not only is that allowed, that's applauded.
Encouraged.
Yes, absolutely. Get your revenge in first.
Well, I'll just remind everyone you're tuned into Home Nation 6's tournament in Edinburgh, Scotland. We're getting towards midday here, and we have 2 matches. We're hoping to get a score sent up from the women's match at the other pitch. So, Dave, just kind of recapping the first half here. So we have a Wales team that just got off the bus and seems to be dominating, and a Scotland team that maybe is starting to show a little bit of fatigue. What do you reckon?
I can't quite get my head around the Scotland team. Yes, it could be fatigue, but it's got that sort of deer in headlights feel to it, in that this is a new game, and I don't really know what it is yet. It's a bit like harem scarum, but then not completely harem scarum. So when we're defending, they seem to have more men than us, and they're attacking and cutting and picking. When we're attacking, they seem to have more men than us, because we're not getting open, we're not getting the good chances, and it's really difficult when you've got a group of players who haven't experienced this form of the game, playing against obviously a team where some of their players have experience. I mean, Tom Porter, who plays at Nuneaton and used to be at Hitchin, he was part of the championship, the inaugural trophy for the Fly. He was in the final, and the Rise won the final. They beat the Forge. And so he'd had in total, let's think about this, probably 6 games up against this Welsh team. This is their first game ever playing, up against a Scotland team who've had 1 game in total, and it was against an England where it wasn't really that we played a game against England. We were on the field. I think was it 24-6 or 26-4?
That's right, yeah.
And again, a vastly experienced England team, and with some college Division 1, NCAA level, a player from Michigan, a player from Long Island University. The goalkeeper has just finished at Limestone in D2, powerhouse. And so you've got 3 players who've, in effect, what's the closest to professional lacrosse or full-time lacrosse, going through the American college system, against a team that hadn't played
this is what I was going to mention, Dave, is that I've met some of these Scotland men's players, but I've met them in Aberdeen and Edinburgh and Glasgow. In other words, I don't think this is a team that has played together. Nobody's played together much, given COVID, but I think especially so, these are geographically separated people who've come together for this tournament, but haven't had time to get together and gel. I'm seeing some hesitancy on their attack. When they've got the ball, they're just not quite trusting each other with the pass, not seeing each other, and when you lack those connections, it's hard to string together goal-scoring opportunities.
You beat me to it. For me, the connections and non-verbal cues So whether you're with a teammate and just by a look, just by a shrug of the shoulder, he's dipping to his left, you know he wants the ball to his right because he's going to step off his left foot, off his defender.
I'm not afraid of verbal cues.
I know, yeah.
I'd like to hear the voice.
Oi,
yeah, I'm open.
Give me the ball. But it's when you get those connections that, whether it be brothers that play together, teammates that play together, or even high school teammates who then go into college to play together, there's just an understanding and a development. And if you haven't got that, life becomes a lot trickier.
Okay, here we go for the third quarter, the second half.
That's a great face-off by Thomas Rosser at Brooklands. Not only did he win the ball behind, he actually scooped it off the floor in the air to his teammate, so he could just catch it, then off to the races. Nice pick by Adam Wood.
Kind of faked the pass there and then spun to take the shot. Didn't quite connect, though.
He almost had too much time. I think just like we had in the previous game, there was a great just spin and finish.
Somebody missed an assignment there. Wales defenders realized at the last minute they'd forgotten someone.
Whose man is that? And the answer is nobody's, because he's wide open on the wing. Casey Hughes dips his head. He was another one from originally from Wimslow Lacrosse Club as a junior, but then has played at Cardiff, Harlequins, and at Hitchin. Part of the Wales team for the 2010 World Championships in Manchester.
8 seconds on the shot clock.
Sidearm shot by Joe Harris, a Timpley lacrosse player, who's just been joined on the team at Timpley by George Harrison Church, the number 14 defender for Scotland. So fellow new teammates are playing against each other here today. Unlucky. I like the way number 11 dodges.
Yeah, I do too. And I
Michael Barkley.
I like the way he was connecting with his teammate, looking for the two-man game. He was looking, making that nonverbal communication. He was like, "Come set the pick," and it didn't quite come, and so he put the dodge on.
And it's strange, but a lot of the times in the two-man game, it's the slower you take it and the controlled actually gives time for it to develop and time for the defenders to make mistakes.
Right.
If you just rush, then you're actually rushing straight into the next defender and you've achieved nothing. You were actually open when you were between the two defenders. And sometimes players that aren't experienced with it force it, and players that are, they just make it look easy. Good ball movement by Scotland. Can they get something out of it? Mason Robbins with the catch.
Took too much
and
time.
That's,
shot clock violation. Yeah.
Again, another shot after the clock and no call.
Good ball movement, but it has to result in something. It has to result in a look.
But even that, with using up the full 30, okay, they got a shot on the buzzer, but it was much better.
Yes.
Asking questions of the Welsh defence and being a bit more comfortable with each other and a bit more aggressive. It's a contact sport. They've taken away the body check, they've taken away the cross check, but it's still competition. So actually challenging your defender, challenging you and your teammate against two opposition teammates.
And I think that was a case of a pretty solid hold by the Scotland defense, and kind of forced a lower percentage shot from the Welsh.
It's the inconsistency at the moment because of it's like you have in football. In the Premiership, they have some fantastic players, but they're not the great players because one week they're on, and another yard helicopter check. That was off. That was into a whirligig. It needs a goal at the end of this.
Oh, nice by Callum Barrett there. He stepped out and stuffed the high shot.
1-on-1. It's nice that he comes up on the positive side. He's been seeing a lot of 1-on-1. He'll be putting out an APB for his defenders. He's like, they'll be on a milk carton. We're missing, wanted.
4 minutes left here in the
this
third
is
quarter.
Crawley,
12-4 to Wales.
Jack Crawley with the big shot. There's another penalty. This time that's on Josh Yeoman from Hillcroft. Sounds bad. 1 minute for slashing. the checking on the arm.
So an opportunity for Scotland here. Let's see what they can do to take advantage. Well, they're definitely creating space here. They're getting tremendously wide. In fact, they're choosing to play
box and one.
Box and one, that's right.
Except it's only three. It's a triangle and one.
Yeah, triangle and one, right.
Well, it worked because another big shot and it missed. They've obviously clocked number 12, Jack Crawley, as the main threat. With his big outside shot, get some leverage into it. And again, sensible play here by Tom Rosser. Hesitating before going over the halfway because he knew as soon as he steps over, he's trapped. He can't go back.
Well, Collum is just having a tremendous quarter. He's had a couple of really terrific saves. Wales choosing to attack even though they're man down rather than stall it out, although maybe they're stalling it out now.
I think I was working really hard to stay still. I don't think he was ever attacking the goal there. He was just trying to keep the ball away from a aggressive Scottish defence.
All right, we're back to even.
That was nearly a gift-wrapped goal for Aaron Eastwood, number 8. Gets sent off for a penalty. All his teammates have to work for a minute to keep hold of the ball. He comes back on and, here, help yourself.
I think that's another case just then of the lack of connection amongst the Scottish players. A perfectly good pass to a player that wasn't looking for the ball.
He zigged when I thought you were going to zag.
That's it. And this comes with repetition, so you would expect Scotland men's to improve through the tournament, and their best matches will be tomorrow probably because they will know each other better. They will have had more meetings, more film to watch, and more personal connection.
Yeah, I was looking through the roster, like I say, the geographically, just getting them to one place, or rather the same place at the same time, is a major logistical problem, especially with the traffic in the UK. I mean, I was talking to one guy who drove up from Manchester, and it only took him 6 hours, but he was so happy because it used to take him 9 hours each way. So it's great. So it only takes me 6 now.
All right, coming up on a minute left here in the third quarter. Wales 12, Scotland 4.
He's down a blind alley there. He managed to turn a double team into a triple team, but he did draw the penalty. That's Tom Rosser, the face-off man mainly, and obviously there's not much face-off required in this format of the game. But he's also an outfield player, midfield player.
And credit Colin Barrett again with another terrific save. He's one of the captains. He's just having a stellar match.
I'm obviously very English. Can you just repeat the name slowly?
I say Colin Barrett, but I may not be correct in that.
Right, but this is number 5, so it's actually Toby Cleaver Ross.
No, it's definitely Colin. I think maybe your number is not correct on that.
Right, Callum Barrett is a defender. But you're right, they may have swapped shirts. There's one of the defenders can step in as a goalkeeper. Right, so that is Toby. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm embarrassed to say I've been calling the wrong name throughout.
There was a sweepstake. One of us Toby, it was going to happen to.
Toby, my friend, please accept my apologies. The roster I was given has Colin wearing that shirt. So anyway, Toby, what a terrific match you're having, buddy.
Former Florida Gator in the MCLA League. I believe maybe a former Loughborough player. He was their recruiting officer at Loughborough, I believe, for 3 years. And this is his bank holiday weekend off. I'll just drive to Scotland, play in goals, and let people throw a hard rubber ball at me for the whole weekend before doing it again tomorrow. And they say goalies are mad, and they're right.
Yeah. Oh, well, here's some replays. I hopefully we'll get to see some of Toby's saves here.
So who's the goalie again, David? So Toby, you say?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, to be fair, there was some late roster shenanigans, is for want of a better word. So they announced the roster early in the week, and then literally 10 minutes before the game, we received a new roster.
It is also the case that as soon as we get on mic, we suddenly get handed changes. So, so we apologize to players throughout the tournament.
In advance, please ignore everything I say, because it's quite possibly wrong.
I'm a much better coach than I am a commentator, I guarantee. All right, so it's 14-4, Wales over Scotland at the minute.
As you see these highlights, and it's only when you get into the super slow-mo you can really appreciate the little hitches, the look away. It's like, oh, I'm not going to shoot. I'm going to pass it over. Or am I? And then shoot and release it at the last second. Again, that was Thomas Rosser stinging the top corner.
It takes that finesse, doesn't it, to beat a good goalie? You can't just be hitting high power shots all the time.
The deception element is such a huge factor. I'm a big fan of Coach Jamie Monroe of JM3 Sports. And just he is a fan of like how the Six Nations play, whether it be the Arrows or the Six Nations Chiefs or the Iroquois Nationals, and everything is like, looks like I'm going to fake a pass, looks like I'm going to pass a fake, and just the ability to manipulate defenders without releasing the ball
and to sell it, because if you just do it, with your stick, that's not enough. With your eyes and your shoulders and your footwork.
Goal. A little behind the back flip there. He wasn't looking when he took the shot. He was looking at us with his back to goal and just flicked it behind him. Goalkeeper never reacted because he never saw it.
Wouldn't have expected a shot to be coming.
On cue for once. We're actually, yes. So it's a power play. I can't actually see from here.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's in the sin bin. No, I can't tell.
Again, in the field game, there'd be no problem with that shot. In the sixes, it's a turnover. Let's see how long it takes for Wales to realise that they're a man up so that somebody can actually go and chase the goalie. And for the goalie to realise he can just stay there because they're a man down. There we go. Beautifully done by Toby Cleaver-Ross. Bit of a hurry up and wait. Make it look like you're going to push transition and then don't. And before you know it, the penalty's been killed. Don't pick it up, wait for the shot clock. Still not picked it up, it's still a Wales shot clock. Obviously, as soon as you pick up the ground ball, the shot clock is reset. Which is why you'll see the officials giving the Saturday Night Fever.
That's right.
Finger rotation. Oh, beautiful. That was an excellent roll dodge. Aaron Eastwood just couldn't finish it off. Another one-on-one save by Toby Cleaver-Ross. This is Eddie Owen. Off the pipe. Quick release by Aaron Eastwood.
There's a cherry picker. And an open goal.
And I think it was number 13 who made that pass, which was Chase Steiner. But it was up from the ground ball straight into the 25, 30-yard pass upfield. Great vision. I think he had a plan as soon as that ball was on the ground to pick it up and get it upfield. You may have heard this phrase before, folks. That's a save by Toby Cleaver-Ross, and then a goal by number 12 for Wales, Jack Brook, defender by trade. Well, not trade, he's in his day
in the
job
field
at
trade.
Loughborough. Yeah, literally marvellous in the field trade. In the field lacrosse trade.
Here we're all middies except the goalies. Yeah. So that's a goal to Scotland, bringing it to 16-6 to Wales.
I believe that was Chase Steiner. Old-fashioned high bouncer. The temptation, I'm not sure if you're familiar with a chap called Booker Corrigan.
No.
He does a high school commentary in the MIAA, which is a high-class high class, a high standard lacrosse league, high school league in Baltimore, and he has 1,000 lines for all situations. Logging on to istingcorners.com.
Yeah.
Like that shot, the top cheddar, the top shelf, where Mama hides the cookies. It's worth a look on YouTube. This is Crawley. You can see him winding up, and it's another one. In one. Tribute to Bullseye. Could have won a speedboat for that. That's an excellent shot.
Yeah, it was 17-7 now. About 3.5 minutes remaining in the match.
Went for the twister finish. Great work by Joe Harris. This is Robertson. Gets it upfield.
A little more assertiveness to the passing from Scotland now. Maybe it's starting to get some of that confidence we're talking about, some of that connection.
Another save by Casey Hughes. It was there. He just went for the laid back, the leaner, rather than pulling your stick across. That was Fergus McMahon from Hillcroft. Scotland ball.
I don't think either coach has taken a timeout, have they? Just play on.
Again, the timeouts are so short. The major problem is the risking giving away a penalty for delay a game. Great save. He was denied. That one hurt as well, I think. He's taking his time getting back up. That was a look away shot. Everything, his body language was showing it was going to shoot high. Actually ripped it to the bottom corner.
Just 2 minutes remaining now.
This time it's in. Jack Brooks from the Loughborough University program, or Loughborough students. Over and back. This really is this is a 2-on-none fast break for Wales. Well executed. That's Thomas Rosser from Brooklands. Face-off man.
Yep, faked the pass but didn't risk the pass.
Yeah. But the goalie bit, you've got two on none. There's no defenders anywhere in sight. And I'm sure both teams will be happy for that foul, just to get the breath back and maybe get a substitution.
That's Mason Robbins from Scotland looked to be a bit injured on that play. He's moving off with a little discomfort.
Hardy stock. I'm sure he'll be back soon. But I think both teams, the midfielders, were on their knees. They'd be crawling up and down field at that point. It's very rare that somebody will come up and say, "Please sub me." But I think there were a few players gasping at that point.
Yeah, so about a minute remaining.
Is that 2-man down? I don't think we've seen a 3-man down.
It is.
So it's a save and a reset.
I think by definition it's a triangle defense.
Yeah, yes.
It's the only way you can connect those dots.
I want to see them play the box and one.
Yeah, right.
When there's only 3
you
of them.
You can't get a box out of
yes.
this.
Toblerone, perhaps. Great finish on the doorstep. Narrow angle, but right on the doorstep. Pete Ross from Walcountian Blues. Fantastic club. I don't know if you're familiar with it down south. They host Blues Fest every summer, or it was every summer before, obviously, the pandemic, which shall not be named. But it's a men's and women's tournament, camping over the weekend, barbecue, disco, usually a fancy dress theme. And meanwhile, home on the range, Alex Williams with another goal. The silky lefty from Sheffield Steelers, the pride of all Yorkshire. Again, good defensive pressure by Rod Stanford. Obviously learned a few tricks off his sister. Great footwork.
Just 10 seconds remaining. Oh, actually, that is the horn. And there you have it, 20 to Wales, 8 to Scotland. At the Home Nations Sixes tournament.
as we'll see some of the highlights in slow motion. Lacrosse always looks better in slow motion for some reason. You're able to appreciate all the nuances and the disguise, and that's not actually game. I think we have a couple of seconds left. 4 seconds left in the game. Celebrated too soon, and there we go. Now it's the end of the game, man.
So I wasn't wrong in my call. I said there was time left, and suddenly there was a horn.
Warm round of applause by an appreciative audience here in the main stand.
Well, I think we can still say it was 28 to Wales.
So Scotland seem to have a much better performance than their first game with England, who really put them to the sword. 3 cheers for each team and 1 for the refs, and then both teams will line up. And even in these COVID times, shake hands with lots of vaccinations and testing and hand sanitizer. It's just nice to see players that being able to compete and contest against each other. Next up is the women's game. There's one more men's game this afternoon, which is England versus Wales, which will be here if you want to join us at 3 o'clock UK time or British summer time, which will be then 10 a.m. Eastern for those of you watching in the US on Lax Sports Network.